She can transform her voice in every single way you can possibly imagine, and now she can even sing. Today, we have Julie Nathanson in studio. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AFTERBUZZ TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
We're just gonna soak this up because this is your song, Wise Up.
Yeah.
I just want to soak it up. Because I feel like I'm listening to Ariel from The Little Mermaid right now. It's so beautiful and Disney princessy.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about this song, Wise Up.
Sure. So this is a cover of one of my favorite songs in the world by Aimee Mann, and it was featured in the movie Magnolia. When I first saw the movie Magnolia, I was glued to my seat, and I'm not going to say that I didn't pay for the second viewing, but I totally didn't leave my seat and I stayed for another viewing. I'm sure I just paid them after. That's what you do when you're a good person. But I was really struck by the movie, and this song is a really integral part of the film. And the song's intention, I think, originally is for the singer to be imparting to someone who's struggling with perhaps substance abuse, some wisdom, some ideas around, it's not going to stop until you wise up. And throughout my life, I've had this song sometimes kind of ring through my brain, but more from the perspective of reminding myself that perhaps a thought might not stop, or an idea might not stop, or an emotion might not stop, a relationship might not stop until I wise up. And so there's something about that struck me so personally, and I kept hearing it as a more internal song. And I just had this idea one day, and I'm a trained singer. I've been doing voiceover forever, but I just really wanted to record it, and I found some people who really wanted to do it with me, so we did it.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
So yeah, this whole idea of like wising up and, not staying in the same rut. Like, how do you get past that rut when you're in a place where you're just like repeating the same patterns, not necessarily substance abuse, but just bad habits over and over again, or you don't learn your lesson, or you stay in that bad relationship that isn't getting you anywhere, or you stay in that job that you hate, that 9 to 5. How do you say enough is enough, I'm gonna wise up? When do you make that change in your life?
What's so interesting is that the last line of the song is, it says it's not going to stop till you wise up, so just give up. And so that the message of that has always been a little bit iffy to some people, saying, well, are you saying just give up on trying? And for me, it's sort of the intersection of giving up and acceptance. So sometimes it's accepting, okay, this is the pattern. This is what I have to learn to live with. Maybe I'm fighting against something and I need to find a positive way of actually staying in whatever this is. If it's completely torturous, that won't be the wisest move, right? And then other times it's sort of acknowledging that maybe you haven't figured out the lesson yet. Sometimes we're still in process. And I feel like it's, the journey of figuring out whatever we need to wise up is kind of the journey of our lives. So if we haven't found the answer, we're just still in the process.
What's the greatest lesson you've learned in this industry? Because you've been doing this for a while. You've done so many different voices. I was looking at your filmography and I was like, how many video games and movies and what? And now singing, you have done a lot. So what is the greatest lesson that you've learned?
Actually, I think it probably comes down to this idea of being many things. I think at first, my feeling is that as children were asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? Which is basically, what color out of all of these colors in the box of crayons, I've said this once before, but I'm going to repeat myself for those who might have seen me say this on an interview. I think we're given this beautiful big box of crayons and told as a child that we're supposed to pick one. And then that's your identity forever. And I subscribe, I thought that would be a great way to live my life. I'm just gonna pick burnt umber and that's it. And then throughout my life and throughout my career, I realized that I don't have to do that. And I'm a person of many colors. I like seeing the spectrum of things, and perhaps there is some song over there, and perhaps there is a character over there that's a little more rough and tumble, and perhaps there is something I want to write, and perhaps there is a trip I want to take. We can be lots of different things and not stuck in one color. So I think that's been the greatest lesson for me, is that success or enjoyment, the pleasure I get out of doing this work isn't part and parcel to just staying in one place and being one thing. It's embracing that I'm lots of things.
And we can see that from the different voices.
Yeah, there's that too.
Can we hear some of them?
Sure.
I know you've done.
do a voice?
Yeah, you've done Suicide Squad.
Yes.
You've done some Disney ones. We don't have to do those ones right now, but you've done so many different ones. Just give us like a sample, like 3 of your top favorites.
Okay, let's see. Well, you mentioned Suicide Squad. So in Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, I play Silver Banshee, and I'm also reprising her in an upcoming video game. So Silver Banshee has a really rough and dark voice and a bit of an accent. So she says things like, yeah, I'm all up in my feelings about it. She's real dark like this. And she talks in such a way that lets you know that she could kill you.
Oh my God,
yeah,
the chills.
Yeah, she's crazy. But she's great. She has, reasons for revenge.
And I always associate Irish accents with cute little hobbits frolicking around, and we got a dark Irish person.
She's not
now.
so much in the like frolic thing so much. Yeah, no, she's pretty angry about some old stuff. But yeah, so that, and on Avengers, Marvel's Avengers Assemble, I've been playing Crimson Widow for the past several seasons, and that's Yelena Belova, and so she says things like, with the push of a button, I will show you why I am your greatest creation.
Your personality has completely transformed now.
Totally does.
Now I wonder if the voice that you're speaking to me in right now is your actual authentic voice. When you walk through that room, I'm like, is that her voice?
Right.
Is it?
It's funny. Like when I go home, I'm like, all right, what's going on? A really tough day. Somebody get me some food.
Yeah, that's
no,
the
that's
real.
not how I talk.
That's the real voice.
They pay me to talk like that.
Now we know.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is it about voice acting that makes you feel so alive? Like, how did you think, like, how did you wake up one day and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to try every single range of voice I possibly can. Was this something that happened throughout your childhood, or did you discover it later on?
Well, I actually fell into voice acting because of how I responded to an insult. So when I walked in, you said, you were like, oh, there's lots of sparkle on you. And I was like, okay, this is how I am anyway. So this is how I am on a good day. So I started out my career on soap operas, which, back in the day, that's how we told stories. And so I was really curious at the time, what the fans thought of me. And this is before anybody told us, don't read the comments. And I was like, I'm going to read the comments. I want to see what people think about me. This is great. And so someone said, she's real pretty and all, but I have to turn off the volume because it's like Alvin and the Chipmunks have invaded my living room.
Oh my God, I love Alvin and the Chipmunks. So that would be a dream come true for me to watch every single day on daytime TV.
So I actually at the time thought, okay, first of all, that's not cool. Second of all, I'm going to go make money on that. So I went to my agents at the time, who also had a voiceover department, and I said, can I meet with you guys? Can I sit down and talk about voiceover? And will you send me out? They sent me on my first audition, and I booked it. Wow. And I never looked back. And the reason I love it is, having to do with all the colors and all the variety and all the things that we can do, unencumbered by how someone sees us. And it's all imagination. I have to imagine that I'm, flying through the air, or that I'm, encountering a creature, or, that I'm, a little kid waiting to find out if my mom remembered to pack my favorite lunch today. But I'm picturing it in my head. You don't see it. But it's a test of imagination.
But now I see it, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? I love it. I think that's so amazing that you can retain that beautiful childhood imagination, because so many of us, when we grow older and older, we lose that. And I think that's what makes people so beautiful, is that childlike quality where you're just filled with curiosity and wonder, and you're just wide-eyed at the world.
Yeah,
so.
I kind of found a way to monetize being basically like a unicorn puppy. I don't know. So it's just kind of
combination of the best.
Combination of the best
things in the world. Yeah.
I don't know, or something.
Well, anything that you're looking forward to before we wrap this up?
Well, I'm really excited about the new Lego DC Supervillains game, which I was just at Comic-Con on some panels and press stuff discussing. I get to do Silver Banshee again. I've been appearing on Dallas and Robo for YouTube Originals, YouTube Red, with John Cena and Kat Dennings and Jane Lynch, an incredible cast. I play a computer voice. I do a lot of computer voices for some reason.
Can you do it right now?
Sure, absolutely. Commencing retinal scan. Retinal scan complete. It appears you do not have clearance for this sector. Kindly remove yourself, or I shall do it for you.
I just want to replace my Surrey voice on my phone with that voice right there. That's perfection.
It's an odd niche to fall into for a very human person.
For the people who want to hear more of this in every single shape and form, where can they find you on social media?
I'm really active on Twitter because I like words, as you can tell, because I keep talking.
Yeah.
So I'm really active, and I love to communicate with fans on Twitter. They can easily find me there at Julie_Nathanson, which is also my handle for Instagram. I'm getting better at it. I'm working on my relationship with the pictures in Instagram, so please visit me there so I'm not so lonely. And those are the two best places. I also have a website, julienathanson.com. It's hard to remember, you know.
JulieNathanson.com.
Yeah, I really wanted to make it challenging for people. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a blast with you today. I love the range of voices. And now I feel like, yeah, I'm going to go do more digging and listen to more voices. And for the rest of you guys, you can follow my adventures on Instagram at Mina Makes Magic. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.